All right, Avi. So the first thing I'm going to say right off the bat is that your drawing has some issues, yes, but the problem is not. The problem is your reference, and that's, I think, the first and foremost thing that you've got going on. The reference is a flash forward picture, and so it's going to look blown out no matter what you do from a painting. What you want to do is, if you're going to do photography and things like that, you want to have a semblance of, like, let me grab just a chalk brush here. All right, so if this is your face, all right, you want to have kind of a highlight on one side and then a little bit of a shadow on the other side, like this. But with the shadow on the other side of the face, you want to bring in some sort of rim light in there to kind of highlight and create a little bit more light in there. Okay, and so that's what you need. You want to do either like 2-point lighting or at least 3-point lighting to get a really good portrait style picture. Okay, or else at least a good ambient lighting from top down, not like harsh top down, but like a nice lighting that will show you what you're trying to do. And that, in case, like, looking at this, you did a great job on her hair. I think her hair is a really solid piece. But the problem I think you had was some of the little things, like here. And this is basically a lighting issue. Is the neck, I think, needs to be a little bit wider. Like, I would bring out the neck here. And you're saturating the skin tones, which is good. So I think the neck brings it down like this, but I don't think it's that harsh. I think you want to kind of lighten some of that up, pushing this over like so, because the shirt feels awkward, and it's kind of screwing with the neck, and I think that is a big issue. So bringing that around like that is going to be one of the things that you want to do. The other thing is, I think your face itself is a little bit lower than it should be. Like, the cheeks and stuff like that just feel placed like they're just a little bit smaller, or they're placed just a little bit lower than they should be. And so if we were to copy this and then move it up just a hair, a little bit. It's kind of rough here. So, and then we'd erase some of that here with the chin, and so on and so forth. Just by pulling that up a little bit more, it gives you a little bit. Maybe it is not just all the face. Maybe it's this here. Let's try this once. So I'm just going to take this and move it just slightly up, like that. And so I think just proportionally, you just want to pay attention to where that kind of overall face goes. I think that is the issue, is just the face is a little bit disproportionate. And it might be, I'm not used to drawing kids, so it might be the fact that the kid is a little bit different. But I mean, just adjusting some of the proportions, and you can see as I do so, just these little bitty proportions make a huge difference. And then watch the eyes, I think, or the nose looks good. You know what, I think, let's try this once. So I'm going to transform this, and I'm going to just bring it out a little bit more, and I think that helps quite a bit too. So just adding that in there, yeah, I think that helps a little bit. We're just widening that mouth a little bit, and never draw completely white teeth. What you want to do is you want to pick your tone and probably drop it like 10% and zoom up in there like so, and then just kind of like so. Let's kill some of that here, and then we're just going to kind of, because these teeth are basically receding, and you don't want to have that full light. Also, push more of the lips, and I think if we push more of the lips in there, and less of that gum, it's going to help it out a little bit more. And just overall, it just doesn't look like natural because there's so much gum going on. And it's very subtle, especially when you're doing portraits and things like that. You know, doing a very subtle portrait makes a huge difference. And then the other thing is watch your eyes. Like this eye is almost straight, and then this eye over here is, let's see here, let's transform this a little bit. Let's rotate it a little bit, and let's move it over a little bit like so. And you can see here, just by doing that little rotation, makes a huge difference right there. Something along the lines of like this. And then don't get so dark under the eyes here. You see what's happening is the darker you draw under the eyes, the more sunken in they look. And so I would actually bring up some of this, bring up some of the light here, and as you can see, me just pulling out some of that light makes the eyes really kind of not feel as sunken in. I mean, you can already see going from just a couple little proportional things here. Grab this to this. I mean, you can see just by doing a couple of those little things like that makes a huge difference. And I think ultimately it boils into that reference. And then the other thing is when you have hard shadows like this, don't draw that highlight under there, because what happens is this is actually curving around and underneath, and it's working. This is where it should be, and it's working like that. And so don't always cut a hard edge here. This is a softer kind of blend, and keep the coloring consistent, especially around the neck area. And let's lighten up a little bit more of this and kind of blend it in, because you don't want to go super dark with it, because again it really deforms the face. Something along lines like this, and it's not bad. It's just your rendering technique is good. I think you just need to kind of really kind of play with the amount of depth that you're pushing in there. And you can see here, just by doing a little bit of that type of thing, just by adding in little bits of that, are making that stick out a little bit more. And then again, get that lighting in here. So if you're going to have that a little bit of darkness, you're going to have more light under here. So there's a strong light this way. So if you want to refine that strong light, you can refine it over on this route here. And it's just a matter of you going in and kind of doing a little bit more subtle changes. The hair is kind of screwing up it looks almost like indented, which is fine, but you want to have a little bit darker shadow under the hair. Let's add this to like a multiply. So let's add in something along the lines like that. Normal, here we go. And just start pulling out some of that there, like so. And so you can see just by doing these minor fixes and adjustments, I went from this to this, and I think that looks a little bit more realistic. And again, without reference, I can't really say, hey, this is what you need to do. But at least I think this is where you need to go with it. And it's little things like adjusting eyes. Like I look at this eye here, and it just looks too far in, and just simply kind of pulling that out. These little fixes you'll just start noticing after a while. And so I went from that now to this, and it's just proportional adjustments, things like that. I would play with her eye a little bit more, take a little bit back and kind of clean up that eye, and something along the lines like so. Okay, and then when it comes to pupils, go strong. It's okay to go strong, because the pupil is actually pretty close to being kind of pushed in there, and so you can always add a highlight on top of that, but keep those stronger. All right, and so you can see just those little proportional fixes makes a huge difference. Okay, I hope that helps.